Hey, what's up with it, King? What's up with it, King? What's up with it, Queen? You already know who it is. It's your big brother, Demont Pope, aka Mr. Purpose over pointless excuses. Yeah, and you are now tuned in to the Live in Purpose podcast with the Fantastic Force. You already know we got Brad Butler II, aka B Rad the Great, and then we got Logan Taylor, aka Why Be Normal When You Could Be Extraordinary. And don't forget, we got Cornelius Shackelford, aka Cornelius, the CEO, and you already know what time it is. What's up with it? What's up with it, y'all? It's the Live in Purpose podcast. Hey, man, how y'all feeling right now, fellas? How's everybody doing? Logan, we're going to start with you. How you doing today?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm recharged, well rested. Took the week off, rested, and was real intentional with my time. And so, man, I'm ready to get back on it.
Man, I can dig it. I can dig it. Love how that sound. Cornelius, how you feeling? Cornelius, can you hear me?
Oh man, yeah, I hear you.
How you feeling, bro?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm good, bro. Man, blessed. Sure, I'm a little opposite of Logan. I'm tired. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah,
Hey, my girls gave me a run for my money today. I ain't gonna lie. I had them all day,
yeah.
but had a whole bunch of meetings going on and sure, baby on the hip. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Type situation. But yeah, man, it's a blessing, man. It's a blessing to be a blessing. So we just running it.
Man, I love it. I love it. I love it. Brad, what's up, bro? What's up with you? How you feeling?
Oh, I'm kind of in the same situation as Logan, just coming off a real busy week. I think it was 4 states in 5 days.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was that was a little bit rough, but we got through it. And I got a chance to actually catch up on some rest. So I've been home, but I'm about to get right back into it. This month I got some more states I got to hit up. So.
Let's go, man. Hey, no time to sleep, time to work. I love it, man. Now, me personally, bro, I'm like in between, man, but a mixture of all the three, man. You know what I mean? I'm a little tired. I've been trying to get some rest, but at the same time, I've been focused in, been trying to lock down meetings. About to start up this second group of the mentoring program, so it's go time. And like Brad, been in and out of state, not much, but been getting a little travel in. So trying to get that calendar booked up. But anyway, man, look, tonight we got a very special topic for y'all, man. We're going to be talking about something that a lot of y'all probably already familiar with, which is what we're talking about right now. A lot of us resting right now because we've been dedicated to a purpose. We've been dedicated to a cause. We've been dedicated to a work. So we've been busy, right? And Cornelius just got through describing his dedication with being a father, right? That's just business is one of the things that we do, but we wear many hats. So it takes a level of dedication to be able to juggle your business and manage your family and manage what you're doing right now with other businesses. So right now, I'm gonna like to jump right off in here and we're gonna talk about this dedication topic. But I looked up, I already got to check in with my partner Google, right? So y'all know how we do. So I checked in with Google and he gave me a couple of definitions. The first one I want to focus on right quick before we jump to you, Logan, and talk about it is dedication is simply the quality, right, of being dedicated or committed to a task or a purpose. And see, I like this one. This is my favorite one because it ends with that word purpose. You feel what I'm saying? So again, dedication is the quality of being dedicated or committed to a task or a purpose. And I know some of y'all might be like, well, what is committed, right? You just gave us two different words. So committed is simply a feeling of dedication and loyalty to a cause or activity or a job, basically being wholeheartedly dedicated to something. So the two, they coexist, they can be one and the same, but basically dedication is simply being dedicated or committed to a task or a purpose. And we dedicated to the Live in Purpose podcast. Obviously, you are too, because you're checking in with us. So, Logan, with that being said, how you feel about dedication, my brother?
Um, Man, how I feel about dedication is a little bit different than everybody else because I was committed to my journey and not the destination.
Okay.
And when I say that, I mean like dedicated to like I focused on the journey of like who I was going to become, even though I went through a divorce,
Mm-hmm.
right? I focused on healing myself internally and blocked out the noise of what people see what people saw on the exterior, on the outside of who they thought I was. And so, man, for me, like dedication, bro, like it was different because, like I said, I focused on the journey and not the destination. And I think a lot of times what happens with people is that they get focused on the journey. They get focused on the destination, on who they want to become, on what they want to do, on who, they want to be validated by people and different things like that, instead of focusing on the journey to build yourself and who God has called you to be.
Man, that's heavy what you're saying. And when you think about focusing on the journey, Logan, like to me, and maybe I'm wrong, and fellas, you can check me on this because I'm gonna go to you next, Cornelius. But I feel like even with focusing on the journey of the situation, Logan, it still takes a level of heavy dedication. Because when you focused on the journey, like to me, that sounds like delayed gratification. It's like something at the end of a process. You feel what I'm saying? Because some of us, when we start out on the journey, bro, we'll want to cave in. Like you talked about who you were going to become after the divorce. And I can relate to that because I had to literally become a different person after my divorce. You see what I'm saying? And even having 3 children, right? Being a product of that divorce, it literally had to make me become somebody different. So it took a different level of dedication. You feel what I'm saying, Logan? So Cornelius, with that being said, what you just heard from Logan and what I just added to what he said, how you feeling about this dedication topic, King?
Yeah, man, dedication is one of those things that's a must. Like it ain't nothing you can play with. You can't, you know what I'm saying, go back and forth with it. You just gotta have it. Like you can't get nowhere unless you decide you're gonna be dedicated. And that go that word decide. Like I got this shirt on, don't hope decide, but like you can't be dedicated to nothing unless you decide like where you going. Right? You can't be dedicated to anything until you make a decision. Right. So first you're going to have to make a decision before you decide you can even be dedicated. Right. Because like a lot of people afraid to make a decision and get on a path, get on that journey that Logan talking about. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are afraid to even go that route. And so in order to be dedicated, you got to make that decision and then get on the journey. And then dedication means that you sticking with it. Right. You made that decision and now like you ain't no wavering. It's so falling down is allowed, but getting back up is mandatory, right? And so when I think about dedication, like you just gotta know that it's okay to fall down, but you gotta get back up. You gotta keep pushing. That's just what I think about when I think about dedication, because like every now and then we all fall down, but when we get back up, what kind of look do we got in our eyes? You know what I'm saying? Like what is that? What does that feeling feel like? You know what I'm saying? Are we discouraged? Are we thinking about quitting? Or are we dedicated?
Yeah. See, I like what you're saying, Cornelius, and something else that you said I want to pull out, I want to highlight. You said making a decision, and that's heavy to me because that's one of the key things that I like to talk about, man. Matter of fact, when me and Brad was up in New York and we were doing the conference, that was my number one takeaway that I needed them to write down, was making a decision. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it takes a decision for you to decide whether or not you're going to be dedicated or committed, even before you start the journey, right? Like you just said. And as Logan was talking about specifics of his journey, he had to make some decisions. And I second his motion when I said that I had to also make some decisions about who I would become along this journey. So we're all on a journey. Like we never really arrive, because as soon as we arrive, guess what? It takes another level of commitment, another level of dedication in order for us to get to the epitome of what we're trying to get to. Now, listen, you've been real patient. You've been real cool. You've been real calm. So Brad, I want to hear what you got to say right now on this dedication topic. And then I'm going to come back around and I want us to talk about a time where we had to give an example of being dedicated. You feel what I'm saying? What's up, B?
Dedication. Dedication is nothing more than a firm and steadfast decision to complete something. And by completing that thing, you are not emotionally tied to the result.
Wait, hold on. You're not finna speed. You're not finna speed past that like you didn't just say what you said when I thought I heard you say what you said. So run that back for the people in the back and one more time for those that don't want to hear that.
Dedication is a firm and steadfast decision to complete something and not being emotionally tied to the result, to the end result, right? So for many people, they have certain things that they want to accomplish, but they're emotionally tied to the result. So if it doesn't necessarily go their way at the end of it, they might automatically assume that that's not what they're supposed to be doing, or that's not their purpose. Like, how many people have you heard of who didn't pass the bar on the first time that they tried it? People who are in the medical field who didn't pass the NCLEX on the first time they tried. It goes on and on and on. How many guys tried to make it into an NFL or NBA team and they didn't make it on the first try? It goes on and on and on. But if it's your purpose and you know that's what you're supposed to be doing and you're dedicated to it, right? You're willing to go through whatever it takes in order for you to be able to achieve it. I said it when I was in New York. I was willing to go through an entire nightmare to make my dreams become a reality.
Right.
Like, that's just a fact. And I went through it. Like, I went through all the ups and downs, all the pain that goes along with trying to be successful. I think that's the part that people tend to miss. They see the accolades and awards and all the success and things like that. And they assume that it came because some people are just talented or gifted. No, they're actually dedicated. Like, you want their gifts, you don't want their dedication. That's the problem. That's the problem. Most of the people that you find in this world who are super successful, they're not actually extremely gifted. They're extremely dedicated.
Hey, listen. Let me run you back real quick and pull out and highlight something that you said. The thing that stuck out the most to me, and I'm just gonna pull it back out the air and put it right there. And the viewers and listeners, y'all can do whatever y'all want to do with it. But he said that not being attached to the results. And you know what I think, if I take that, what you just said, and connect the dot back down to something that Cornelia said with people not wanting to make a decision, you know what I'm saying? And then I connect that dot back up there with what Logan said about the journey. And now we're looking at a journey of making decisions. We're talking about dedication being a journey of consistently making the decisions, right? Where you are not necessarily attached to the outcome. According to what Brad is saying, I'm just putting this fantastic force lingo together, trying to see if we can put something together out here and help these people. That's all we're trying to do. So now that we know what it looks like, right? Now that we know what it looks like, let's talk about a time. Because Brad, you said something about people not wanting to put the work in, right? They want what other people have. Like, I like to say it like this: people love to get on the stage, right? People want to be on the stage where the lights and thousands of people, but not many people want to put their hands together to build the stage, right? So let's talk about a time where it was behind the scenes, or so to speak, in the dark. And we can play whoever want to go first between Logan and Cornelius. What's one of those times where you had to be dedicated to a cause and you didn't think, or it didn't look like it was going to turn out the way, like Brad talked about, somebody wanted to get in the league, but it looked like it wasn't going to work out for them, but they had to be dedicated in the dark, right? So talk to me, Logan or Cornelius, whichever one of y'all want to jump out here first, about a time where you had to be dedicated before you saw the result.
Yeah, I'll go. To be honest, bro, it really started for me like as I chose football as something that I wanted to do, right? I really wasn't sweet at it at the beginning. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was playing offensive lineman, left tackle, you know what I'm saying, blocking for the running back, and I wanted to play running back. But, I had a little league coach that told me, he said, Emmitt Smith started out blocking on the line. And at the time, Emmitt Smith was like, the guy to watch. So he really gave me something and just pretty much told me I had to be dedicated to this thing. I had to be willing to put in the work. I might be playing little league, left tackle, left guard, at the age of 6 or 7. But if I stayed dedicated and learned the game, it will make me a better player, right? It will make me a better back. And he was right. I stayed to it. I never quit. I kept that helmet on. And as I got older, my body started changing. As I got older, my work ethic started, since I wasn't that guy and I had to watch that guy, it allowed me to build a drive inside of me to want to be that guy. I want to be better than everybody else. Like, I got to watch everybody get the accolades and me just do the dirty work. I got to watch, I got to watch that stuff happen. And so when I got to high school, like, I was willing to put in more work than anybody else because everybody else had already started reaping the rewards. Everybody else was already hit. they had already been to the mountaintop.
Yeah.
They felt they had already started being worshiped. I hadn't got any of that stuff yet. So like I was willing to put in the work, and the people that we had been worshiped when we was kids, they started falling off. Right?
Yeah.
Everybody started hitting growth spurts, started hitting puberty. You know what I'm saying? You start seeing people, start separating their work ethic. And the guys who had been the man when we was 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, all of a sudden they actually had to really compete.
Yeah. Yeah. Now,
You know what I'm saying?
Now I want to point something out. I didn't mean to cut you off. But you said something hot, bro. And I wanted to catch it again before you cool down, bro. You said that you were advised or basically coached, right, to take another position other than the position that you aspired to have, right? Like, so you talking about you blocking for the running back, but you wanted to be the running back, and you found out that you would become a better back by becoming a student, right, of the game, a student of the sport, a student of the position. So playing the position of blocking for the position you wanted to play gave you a clearer vision, right? It gave you a more in-depth education and more experience as to what you wanted to become, right? And then Shaq, you said that Emmitt Smith was the guy to watch. So you was watching E. Smith, you was watching the man, but at that time you wasn't currently as sweet as you wanted to be. So watching the man do what you wanted to do at the level in which you wanted to do it at caused you to put more work in, right? It caused you to be more dedicated to the work ethic, right? And not just the result of being the running back. It made you more dedicated to the development in the process of becoming the best back that you can become. Am I hearing you correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And that advice really carried me all the way up until I was able to be who I wanted to be, right? And it carried me until I was able to actually fill that position, fill those shoes. Did I lose y'all?
No, we here, bro. We here. Sometimes it just take us a minute to process.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. So Logan, what's up with you, bro? What was the time, man, where you had to be dedicated in the dark, when you didn't necessarily think or it didn't appear that you was gonna receive the results that you was working for?
I mean, honestly,
hold on, Logan. Let me finish that thought real quick because I was going somewhere real quick. So that advice that coach gave me, it really carried me until I got to that point. But listening to that advice, that was the advice that actually made me an All-American as my freshman year in college. That advice it took all the way to probably like 12 years for that advice to actually come to fruition. Right? He told me if I stayed dedicated to the game and learned that position, that it would take me wherever I wanted to go. And I was never the fastest. I was never the strongest. I was never the best running back in the country. I just prepared differently than everybody else because I played the position that blocked for me. Yeah. I knew who they were supposed to block. I knew I knew how they prepared. I knew how they dissected film. I knew who they had to block, who was the best, who wasn't the best, who had bad habits. Like he prepared me to be a student of the game when I was 8 years old. Wanting the thing that, and then I got to actually put it in fruition after years and years of time. So the stuff that people start seeing, the newspapers and the interviews and all this, but that started when I was 8 years old, and I got that information from my Pee Wee coach.
Man, you talking about information from a Pee Wee that took you all the way. You know what I'm saying? Through when you became, right? So you got the information, and it was years that went by while you was becoming a student to the game, while you were perfecting your craft, while learning the different positions, the actual, come on, man, we talking about you learn the ins and outs of the game. So when you played on the field, they were playing from one dimension, but you were playing from like 3-4 different dimensions because you were playing from your perspective, their perspective, and other perspectives on the team. So that made you a weapon, bro. So we can't despise small beginnings and the information that we get when we in Pee Wee age, because a lot of us think that information is too simple for us, but we don't execute on the information, and therefore we don't get the chance to see those results like you did, Shaq. So shout out to you for that. Is it another thought that you got to finish? No,
that was good. I think I'm on a lag or something.
Yeah, it's a little bit, but it's all good. We just got to make sure we allow that at the time. We gonna adjust to the lag. You dig what I'm saying? So let's go, Logan. What's up with it?
For me, I mean, it was a few different things. I mean, specifically, I mean, I had to learn like my divorce, bro, like my brokenness. And when I say my brokenness, like to the point where it was like people pleasing, looking for validation, looking for affirmation from people, and different things like that. And bro, my divorce, and some people are gonna be like, man, he crazy for saying this. And you know, y'all know me, I don't care. That's okay. But bro, my divorce was really a blessing, bro.
Hmm.
Like it really was, bro, because I learned how to be loyal to myself.
That's heavy. Wait. You say through the divorce there was a lesson that was learned in that. Now
Bro,
tell us that lesson again.
bro, that lesson and what I learned was I learned how to be loyal to myself. Right? Like I learned how to affirm myself. I learned how to be loyal to myself. I learned how to validate myself, right? Like I wasn't going to anybody else to look for validation.
Yeah.
And again, you know, you said earlier, like Logan, like what is dedication? Like I focused on my journey, Brian, not the destination. Because the destination never changes. Right? Like who we want to be, what we want to become, like how much money you want in the bank account, how much love you want to get, how many speaking engagements you want. You know what I'm saying? If you want a blissful marriage, like, you know what I'm saying? You want to be married, you want kids, like that's the destination, bro. And I think, you know what I'm saying? We have to really dial back and really start peeling those layers back to figure out like, yo, what does that look like? That's where the journey comes in at. And where for me, when I was people pleasing, I was focused on the destination, bro, because I wanted people to validate me. I wanted you to tell me, oh, Logan, you so amazing. Oh, Logan, you so phenomenal. I wanted you to affirm me because I didn't affirm myself. Right? Like I didn't have parents that affirmed me and tell me how smart I was or how amazing I was and different things like that. So for me, bro, like my divorce, bro, it was a blessing, bro, because I learned how to be loyal to myself. And so I think like once we really start to focus on the journey and not the destination, then you can start to make the changes that you want to make.
Listen, man, I think what you said was phenomenal in the fact that if we focus on the journey and not the destination, I feel like that can help us disconnect from the result, because the result is the destination. And if we're focused on the journey, which is the process, then we can embrace the progress in the process. You get what I'm saying? So if we focus, like you said, on that destination, I mean, on this journey, and take our eyes off the destination, like when it's time for us to get there, if we on the journey, it's inevitable for us to get there, right? So we can cut out probably, Logan, a lot of unnecessary stress and anxiety, right? If we stay dedicated, right, to the journey or the process in which we're on, we'll probably see more progress, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like, bro, it's like, okay, it's like somebody that's like, they got a goal, they want to make $100,000 a year. That's not the journey, bro. That's the destination. You want to make $100,000, right? Okay, well, let's dial back now. How are you going to get that? What does that look like, right? Or is it going to be a service? Are you going to work a 9 to 5? Are you what is it that you're going to do in order for you to get that $100,000? And then once we figure that out, okay, now let's come up with a game plan to figure out how we're going to get that, because you still got bills you got to pay, right? There's going to be some unwanted things that's going to come up during this transition that you're going through, right? And so, bro, like I just really think that like we got to focus on the journey and not the destination. Like you want to be a great speaker, like, bro, are you putting the work in like a great speaker, right? Like me and Brad, we ain't talked in a couple days, but me and Brad usually talk every day, but he been busy, bro, and I've been resting.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I was on the road for 4 weeks. I'm gonna be real with y'all, bro. Like during my whole speaking career, bro, before I got a next level, bro, like I never had an opportunity to be on the road for 4 weeks straight.
Yeah.
Why? Because I wasn't focused on the journey, bro. I was focused on the destination.
Come on, Logan. Let's go there.
And where most people mess up is, bro, they focus on what you trying to put on social media and what you trying to portray and who you want to be. And you want me, Brad, Demont, you want us to put, oh, bro, you cooking, bro, you doing your thing. That's my guy. Like, bro, I'm so like, but no, bro, like, I need to see the journey, bro. Like, I need you to call me and say, hey, bro, I'm struggling. Like, bro, take the ego out, take the pride out. Like, hey, Corn, bro, I need help, bro, with financial literacy, bro. Can you get my credit score up?
Right.
Bro, bro, like the journey, bro. And so, man, I really think, like, folks really need to understand, dude. Like, you know me, I'm always looking at myself first. Because I'm like, yo, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, my divorce, bro, like, I played my part in it. And I had to learn, bro, to look internal first because I was broken.
Yeah.
And so I think, like, and it's not even I think, bro. It's better yet if I know that if we focus on the journey, bro, instead of focusing on the destination, now you'll start to become who God called you to be.
That's it right there. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it, man. The things that you saying so much, it's like, bro, you done delivered so many heavy blows, bro, like TKOs, like all over the place. It's so much that we can pull out. But the thing that keeps ringing, the things that keep echoing is the focus. Focused on what? It's focusing on the journey. And you talked about the difficulty in the divorce. Like, I need people to know, like, that this dedication, this resilience, this commitment, like, this came through a process of going through pain, going through hurt, going through the loss of something. And people don't understand, Logan, like divorce. Those of us who have gone through a divorce, like, we literally have to go through a process of mourning, because that was the death of something. Like, that was literally the death of a family. That was literally the death of a union, the death of an agreement, right? So they don't understand unless they've gone through it, the level of trauma, the level of grief that you have to endure to get through that process in itself alone. So being transparent and being vulnerable enough to talk about the fact that you found this resilience or this dedication to be loyal and committed to yourself enough to affirm yourself, because of a lot of us, we seek validation externally to the point to where when we don't get it, that's the reason why, like what Brad said, I'm gonna connect the dot over there. When Brad said a while back in this podcast that people feel like if they're not gonna get, or if it's not gonna happen, they feel like it's not their purpose. They feel like it's not their call, and they feel like they may have missed God. But sometimes that very thing that is twisting us, turning us, pressing us, Logan, like you just described with that divorce, is actually pruning you, like we talked about last week. It's actually cultivating and developing you to that point to where you can be your best self, because it takes a level of dedication. Brad, I know you're ready, so I'm gonna go ahead and flame on right quick, because I need you to talk about a time where you, maybe behind the scenes in the dark, had to stay dedicated in a process where it looked like you weren't gonna get the results, just like Logan, just like Cornelius, just like myself.
All right. So, what I do for a living is I'm an orator. I'm a student success and retention specialist. I speak at schools, corporations. That's what I do for a living. That's how I provide for myself and for my family. Yeah. What if I told you that my first mentor told me that he didn't want to hear me speaking anymore?
Yeah, let's deal with that right there. First of all, I need you to run that back. And then second of all, I need you to elaborate on that. Yeah.
Yeah. So shout out to my the very first mentor that I ever had, who helped me to gain structure and learn how to build my business and the foundation of a business, Kendall Ficklin. I call him Pop. Good dude, man. He really helped me to like really take the feelings out of business and really focus on getting things accomplished. And he knew I had somewhat of a gift as far as being a speaker, but he knew I was raw. And I needed structure. I needed help. And he saw me going out doing speaking engagements, and I'm going. And I'm speaking off pretty much pure passion and energy. Some of it was even pain, that I was speaking out of. And, he would watch some of the videos. And then I remember he reached out to me and he said, I watched some of your videos as of late. He's like, and I don't know what you're going through, but I don't want to hear you speaking no more. Like, you need to stop. Like, until you address whatever it is that you got going on, you need to stop speaking. like, because that's not professional what you're doing. Like, that's not going to get you, consistently paid. That's not going to get you your name put out there where you're known as a professional. If anything, that's going to probably hurt your brand. Like, so I need you to, get that together. And I was hurt by it because I'm like, I'm doing what I think I'm supposed to be doing. So what happens when, the dream is put on halt or yield or it's delayed, and you feel like you're doing everything and your heart is in the right place, but someone who you admire is telling you that you have to stop, that you probably shouldn't be doing this right now. And I'm, being naive and young and immature, I'm thinking, does this mean forever? Like how long will it take for me to mature? How long will it take for me to get where I need to be? How do I become a professional if I'm not a professional now? Like, what am I doing, that's so wrong that you had to halt me, yield, like stop everything. The Lord, peace be still. You know what I'm saying?
That.
And I was like, dang. So it bothered me, but because I was dedicated to being the best businessman, speaker, that I could possibly be, I went back to the blackboard and I started researching. I started going back to the modules and the coaching calls and what was I doing wrong and what could I do better and how do I make the necessary adjustments? That's the problem with most people. When somebody gives you constructive criticism, even if it's somebody who is your mentor and you've actually paid your own money to get the mentorship from that person, you don't listen. And that's the thing that drives me crazy. So how is it that you can tell me that you're dedicated to a certain thing, but you're not paying attention, you're not paying homage to the individual who you came to, who's giving you the tutelage and trying to navigate you past the landmines of life? I don't get it. Like, there's things like that happen. So that sat me down. And I told my wife about it and everything. And she's like, well, okay, he's probably right. You need to, reevaluate some things. So that's exactly what I did. I reevaluated my life and realized that, there were some issues that I was dealing with, some personal issues that I was dealing with. One of the main things was like, okay, financially, I didn't feel like I was in the best space. And whose fault is that? Mine. And nobody else's. Like, that's the thing. When you realize that when you're dedicated to a thing, you find the answer.
That's it.
Like, you don't wait for the answer to come. You find the answer. When things are going wrong, you find a way to make it right.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't care what aspect of your life it is. I don't care if it's business. I don't care if it's your relationships, your kids, like your job, whatever it might be, your community, whatever it is. When you're dedicated to something and you legitimately want things to go well and you want better for a certain situation, you will go to the ends of the earth to make sure that you find a way to solve that problem because it means that much to you. So when I find individuals who are quick to just be like, well, I tried, but it didn't work out. I did this, but it didn't work out. Like, it's, I remember this old movie. Man, I cannot remember the name of it. Glengarry Glen Ross. It's a sales movie about a sales dude. And I remember this the salesman, this higher up salesman comes in there and he's giving the salesman this spiel about them not being good at sales and how they need to get it together and all that. And he uses this example. He says, yeah, one day you'll be one of those guys in the bar. And he's like, oh yeah, I used to sell real estate. It's a tough racket. And as you throw back a shot of whiskey or whatever, and it's like, you want to be that dude? You want to be that guy? Where you got that coulda, woulda, shoulda mentality because you decided to step away and walk away from the dedication aspect of things. You realized it was just too hard for you. It was too much for you. Well, guess what? I guess the world gonna be too much for you. I guess relationships gonna be too much for you. I guess marriage is gonna be too much for you. I guess business is gonna be too much for you. Sports, being a father, whatever it's gonna be, everything's gonna be too much for you because dedication means that you have to face adversity and find a way to overcome it no matter what.
Listen, B. Listen, man. I almost forgot that I was hosting, and I just really wanted to sit back, bro, and just let you do your thing and just listen. And then I kind of just snapped back into like, wait, you're hosting, so let me work, man. This is the thing, man. You talked about so many different things, bro. Like, man, you brought out so many things to light, and I'm trying to figure out which one to lean heavy in on. It's like this. Right? When you got to talking about the fact that, you know what, I tell you what, before I say that, I'm gonna say this. It's difficult. And why is it that we don't listen to, I'm talking about the part where you said that people would pay for a mentor. They would invest in mentorship, but yet and still they won't do the very thing that the mentor is asking or coaching them to do. And it's like the coach or the mentor is in the position to see the roadblocks, right? The bumps that we can't get past. And the whole purpose of having a mentor is so that we can get beyond, right, where we can get ourselves. Like we can only get ourselves so far. So the thing is, I wonder, what is it that makes us or makes some people feel like, well, if I'm going to give this much of attention to it and then I'm going to give up, and I'm going to give up, not because I've done everything I could do, but I've done everything I would do. Does that make sense? Like I'm done with it, not because I've done everything I can do and it's just not in the cards for me, but it's just I've done everything I would do, which means that they're not dedicated enough to find a way. You talked about finding a way, Brad, and I love to say that because the difference between people, that's what people do when they don't want to do something, bro. They make excuses. And I say this all the time in my keynote presentations because purpose over pointless excuses. And this is the Living Purpose podcast. And being dedicated, we're talking about dedication to a level of purpose. So the thing is this, when you're dedicated to something, you're going to find a way. When you're not dedicated, you're going to make an excuse. You see what I'm saying? You're going to make a solution when you're dedicated to a purpose, right? You're going to make the solution where there is no solution, but you will make an excuse when there is no excuse if you lack the dedication, right? If you lack the commitment because you're focused on the destination and you're not focused on the journey simply because you didn't make the right decision. Like Cornelia said, you didn't decide in the beginning that you were going to play the long game. You were playing the short game. Like Logan said, he's never been in a position to go on a road for such a long expanded amount of time because he was focused on the destination. He was playing short. And what I want to highlight is the fact that even you, Brad, you've been consistently busy. But the thing I've noticed is when Logan talked about his divorce, when Cornelius talked about his coaching back in Pee Wee, when you talked about your very first mentor, you didn't tell me the highlights. Like you didn't give me the highlight reel on this episode. You didn't say, okay, DeMont, this is what a moment I had to be dedicated, and boom, you gave me a highlight reel. No, you gave me something difficult. Like you gave me a situation where Brad, your mentor, said, look, I don't want to hear you speak no more. You shouldn't be speaking because you got to deal with whatever it is that you're dealing with because that's unprofessional, which meaning you had to hear something that you didn't want to hear, but you had to be dedicated. You had to be committed to the commitment of growth and evolution to become who you are becoming today, right? You had to be committed, Cornelius, when you were told, right, to lean heavy on becoming a student of the game, right? Not focusing just getting on the team that's going to put you in the position that you so desire, but you had to be dedicated to learning the process in which the blockers played the game, which would make you a better running back when you assume the position in the game. And Logan, in the divorce, you found out that once you develop a certain level of commitment to yourself and you're able to add value and affirmation to yourself, you found yourself on a journey in your business and in your career going further than you've ever gone. And listen, it wouldn't even be fair if I didn't talk about a moment where I had to be dedicated. Like it wouldn't even be fair. So just like y'all, my moment didn't come in a highlight reel or a glamour shot, right? And mine came like this. I spent 15, 20 hours, almost 20, but 15 to 18 hour days. Out of the 15 to 18 hour days, 4 of them are used to commute back and forth to a job that I would consider to be a dead end job because I was already at top pay. So I'm already at a job. I'm already at top pay. I come into the job making top pay by the grace of God, but I'm spending average of 15 to 18 hours a day, and it's only 24 hours in a day. So if I'm spending about 18 hours away, that only leaves about what? Somebody do the math. Where we at? Maybe six more hours or something like that in the day. So that leaves 6 more hours. Now that includes 6 hours for sleep, 6 time for family, and 6 hours to get up and be back ready to go. So I had to make a harsh or a critical decision, right? And I had to decide to walk away from that demanding job or that dead-end job. Even though I was making top pay, I was making good money, but my quality of life was diminishing, right? The quality of life was diminishing. So it's like, okay, wait, God has been too good to me. What do you mean he's been good enough? He gave you a good job and you making money, you making good benefits. Yes, absolutely. But he's been better to me than you can see, because he's also blessed me behind the scenes to have a wife that love me and care for me, and have 5 kids who need my attention as well as my money and my provision, right? So I had to make a decision to do something that most people would consider to be foolish. So I had to step out on faith, right? Folks who don't understand faith being the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen, they think those of us who operate in faith, they see us to be a bit foolish. But see, they don't know the level of dedication. They don't know the level of commitment, right? See, they thought Noah was a fool too until rain started falling from the sky. You get where I'm coming from? So I had to make that transition, and it was a difficult transition, and it's still oftentimes a difficult transition. But I got to be dedicated to the purpose. I got to be dedicated to the calling, because guess what? While I was given 18 hours to a job that was product and service, right, connected, it had nothing to do with my purpose or my calling. It had nothing to do with my giftings or my natural talents and abilities. Now, true enough, I had to be educated and skilled to do my job, but that was a skill that I was taught. But there was a passion, there was a calling, there was a purpose, and you three are personifying that calling, that passion, that purpose on this episode. And I shared that same gift, and I didn't know it, but I had to make a decision to transition from that guaranteed, I know where my next meal is coming from, to now I'm out here and we going fishing. Like they don't understand, bro. When Christ said, like, put down your rods and follow me, I'm gonna make you fishers of men. Like, they don't understand that these guys were literally fishermen for a living. Like, he was telling them to lay down your livelihood, like literally, like, quit your job and come out here and follow me, right? Like on some Abraham, like, I'm gonna go to a place where I will show you. Like, I ain't even telling you where you're going. Like, go to a place where I will show you. And I ended up out here. And it's the dedication, it's the commitment, because so many doors got slammed in my face. Because people see us when we hit the stage and they see the flyer and they like, wow, congratulations, you getting an opportunity to do this, you getting that. And they think it just happened, but they didn't see the dedication. They didn't see the hours of service behind the closed doors when there was no hand claps, right? They didn't see the sleeves roll up, the sweat dripping, and then the eyes burning like the dirt. Like, they didn't see that. Like, I imagine if you want to compare it to something ugly, like Murky coming out of the mud, going through a divorce, like, they didn't see the ugliness of it. Like, when you talked about showing your journey, like, show me the moment when you like, bro, it's not going so well. We talking about moments where like 3 credit cards is maxed out. We talking about moments where the wife and I having discussions about maybe we should file bankruptcy, like real transparency, like moments where you got to be dedicated and say, wait, he didn't get me this far to leave me right here. Like, he didn't bring me through all the storms. He didn't bring me through all the obstacles, through all the adversity, through all the challenges of life. Like, he didn't give me all this experience. He didn't give me like all of this mentoring, all of this coaching. He didn't give me all of this for me to get to this point and then just cave in and fold in. Why? Because it don't look like I thought it was going to look. So I had to take my eyes off of the destination, and I had to embrace the journey. I had to embrace the process and be like, hey, even though I've had some highs and even though I've had some lows, like, I'm still on this road. I'm still on this journey. Like in the conference we were at, Brad, I'm still in the air. Like, this plane ain't landed yet. So I wanted to be fully transparent to let somebody know, in an effort to help somebody who is in that position where they feel like they can't let nobody know that everything ain't going all great. Like, they trying to be caught up in the social media feed. Like, they want the accolades from social media. Like, they want to look like they putting in the work. But I just want to speak to the heart, like, if we can, because we've been talking about some difficult things. And all of us has gotten through this road and gotten to this point of dedication, not because it was a highlight reel, but we all had to grow through something. Notice I said we had to grow through something. Like, we started somewhere, then it got dirty, right? And then we got covered and buried in the dirt. But we realized that we wasn't buried, but we realized that we were planted, fellas. We were planted. And as we were planted, we began to give birth We began to give birth to something new, and it's called His Purpose. So we want to thank y'all for tuning in to the Live in Purpose podcast. And that with that being said, we're going to go around the table again, one time. We still got a lot more time left. So Logan, you, my man, has came out swinging all kind of haymakers, all kind of blows. Me personally, for no rhyme or reason, I just feel like you got a little more to add. So I literally just wanted to put you on the spot right now just to hear what else you had to say, bro. I just wanted to shut up so you can speak up.
So, bro, when I was younger, I'm going to use this reference, man. When I was younger, bro, I focused on hitting home runs. So walk with me for a second, okay?
Yeah,
I focused on hitting home runs. And when you hit home runs, bro, you hear a lot of oohs and ahs and cheers from the crowd. Right? A lot of people think like, yo, you the man. Like, bro, you hit home runs. Like, bro, you the man. Right? And again, we talking about dedication. Bro, don't you know that the person that gets in the Hall of Fame isn't the person that hits all the home runs? The person that gets in the Hall of Fame is the person that makes it to first base consistently.
Come on, Logan, run it back.
The person that hits the home runs, they don't necessarily automatically get into the Hall of Fame. The person that gets onto first base consistently, they get into the Hall of Fame. Why? Because their batting average is a lot higher. Right? And so, again, you know, I say, bro, like, you got to focus on the journey and not the destination. Right? Like, I was focused on, there were points in my life where I was focused on the destination, and I'm trying to hit a home run every time I swing, not realizing that, bro, like, my batting average would be a lot better, bro, if I got on first base.
First base.
You know what I'm saying? Consistently. And so I'm focused on, right, like when I was out in the streets, I'm focused on trying to be the man with all the girls. Like, bro, like, I remember guys at, bro, Lo, where the girls at, bro? Like, I know you got them. Oh, bro, come on, man. Come on, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, you come on, bro. Chill out, bro. No, man. But we gonna find them, though. I'm focused on hitting a home run, bro. I wasn't focused on getting on first base to try to fix myself internally because I was looking for validation from people out in the streets. Knowing that it had no value to it, knowing that it hold no merit to my life or anything like that. And so, bro, like now, and we're in the position and where I'm at now, like, bro, like, because I am focused on getting on first base, right, my batting percentage is a lot higher versus than me trying to hit a home run.
Yeah.
And there's times, don't get me wrong, there's moments and times, bro, where the pitcher throw the right pitch to me, bro, and I knock it out the park. And I'm grateful for those moments, right? Like, I'm grateful for when I get those checks for 20,000 or 15,000 or 40,000 and things like that.
Yeah.
But, bro, I've been consistent, bro, with getting 5,000, bro. And I'm okay with that right now.
Yeah.
Because I'm focused on the journey, bro. Like, I know what I'm capable of. I know what God is gonna do in my life because I've seen him do it before, right? But I'm so focused on the journey, bro, not the destination. Even when it comes to like building relationships with y'all, like, I'm focused on the journey, on how I can add value to y'all's life. Because each one of us got a lot on our plates.
Yeah.
Right? And so I'm like, yo, how you doing mentally? Hey, bro, what's going on? How your marriage doing, bro? Your family good? Hey, bro, let me see my nephews. Let me see my nieces. Like, hey, bro, like, what's going on, bro? You got your time in today? Right? Because I'm focused on the journey, bro. I ain't focused on the destination. Like, I ain't gonna lie. I know we all gonna be well off financially. Like, I know all of that. Because we all put the work in.
Right.
Right. But getting to that point, bro, like, you know, Jay said something in our coaching call. And he was like, bro, like, sometimes we could prematurely, bro, be thinking that we're ready for something before it actually comes to us.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true too. Yeah. So Logan, I'm glad you was on point enough to just let me put you on the spot. And now I believe the listeners, they probably didn't know what I was doing when I was doing it, but I'm probably sure they know now why I had to give you the mic, because you had something else to say. And the echo is still being focused on the journey. And if they take nothing else from this episode, and while we're talking about dedication, like we're all highlighting the journey. And what you just said that Jeremy mentioned, like, bro, like, how can we not see it clearly? Like, some of us, like, I know I've been in a position where I thought I was ready for something and expecting something, and I really wasn't ready for what I thought I was ready for. You see what I'm saying? So it's all about pacing ourselves. Like, when we running that in a marathon, like, we're not sprinting. Like, it's not a 40-yard dash. Like, we're not running a quick race, right? We got to pace ourselves. We got to work our breathing. We got to work our motion. Like, and I ain't even no expert on it, but I know enough to know that, you know what I'm saying? So what we don't want to do is run out of breath. We don't want
Look like the mom might have froze on us real quick.
He froze on us. But yeah, bro, we don't want to run out of breath. Corn, bro, you got something to say, and then we'll go to Brad to close it out.
Yeah, for sure, man. When I was listening to you guys on this last round, man, I just hear, peeling the onions, right? When you peel back that onion, it's layers to that thing, man. It's a process, and you got to be dedicated to peel back that onion, right? You got to have something that you're gonna use it for. Ain't nobody just peeling onions, right? But most people, what they do is they grab a knife, right? They don't want to take the time to peel the onion. They want to grab a knife. But what most people don't realize is that when you grab a knife, you just speeding up the process to when you're gonna cry. You just speeding up that process, right? And so, like, I want people to understand, like, the process is the process for a reason, right? You gotta be willing to go through it all to be able to get to the end, right? And I want us to think about something, because, like, when you're talking about, peeling the onion and being able to stand dedicated to the process, that's something that I kept hearing when Brad was talking. Man, it's like the solution cannot be created on the same level in which the problem was created, right? And some people, we want to create the solution in the same breath as the problem was created. We want to, we don't want to let it breathe. We don't want to, we don't want to go through the process of, like, letting people feel what they feel. Like, we just want to fix it right now. But the solution can't be created on the same level in which the problem was created. And so we got to be willing to go through that process. We got to be willing to when you was talking about Jay saying that it might be too early for you, you trying to create a solution because you got a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got a problem right now and you trying to create a solution for it, but you ain't went to that next level. So you can't create a solution on the same level in which the problem was created. You still on that same level that the problem was created on. So, like, you got to be willing to go through that process, and you got to stay dedicated to it, because whatever the problem was on that level, you got to make a decision to make a change. And then you got to stay dedicated to get to another level. Like, ain't nobody throwing no ladders down until you make a decision. Ain't nobody, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody, like, putting no hand down until you make a decision. Like, when you got a group of friends, I was advised when I was young, like, because I always had, like, big ideas. And, like, I had an uncle that would ask me crazy stuff all the time. He said, man, I want you to ask your friends, what's they plan to make $1 million? What's their $1 million plan? And I was like, what? Like, oh, makes sense. He's like, they need to have a plan, because otherwise they're gonna try to talk you out of yours, because they ain't got no plan of their own. They gonna hate on you, or they gonna pull you down because they ain't got no plan of their own. So I want you to understand that people have to make a decision, and then they can create the dedication, and then you got to figure out how to surround yourself around that same type of people. This group was created because, bro, we got that same determination. Like, we got that same type of drive. We know that, you know what I'm saying, ain't none, we all cut from the same cloth. We family men, right? We believers, right? We have the work ethic. But we one thing that we know about each other is that we willing to peel that onion. We willing to go through those layers, no matter if it make us cry. But ain't nobody grabbing a knife trying to shortcut this thing. We willing to peel the layers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's all I want. I just want to make sure people know, one, you got to be able to willing to go through, peel the layers off the onion to get to where you're trying to get to. Two, you got to get to another level because the solution can't be created on the same level as the problem.
Man, I love what you're saying when you're saying how you saying it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I got kicked out for a minute, and I love the way when I jump right back off in here where you was at with it, bro. Listen, man, I know we getting close to the time. Listen, man, we've been talking about dedication. Last thing I was saying before I was cut off was don't run out of breath on the marathon. And the way to do that, you got to pace yourself, because in order for all of us to get where we're going, we got to go the distance. I'm going to say it again. In order for all of us, and I'm not talking about the four of us who's on this podcast, like we already know our journey, just like Cornelius just pointed out, like we cut from the same cloth, right? So we going where we going. But in order for all of us, right, in order for all of us who's on this episode, who's listening under the sound of my voice, in order for us all to get to where we're going, we're going to have to pace ourselves, because we got to make it to the finish line. And we got to make it to the finish line together, safely and healthy. So look, that's all I got on it. I don't know if any of the other guys got on it. Anybody else got something else before we wrap it up? Yeah.
Listen, I think we pretty much said it, we pretty much, I don't want to beat a dead horse. Like we good on this one. Like Cornelius pretty much brought that thing home there with the, peeling back the onions. And, the last thing that he said was powerful with the, you can't solve your problem on the same level as the problem itself. And it really just makes me, the first thing that popped into my head is like two people, say dealing with, nicotine. They're both trying to get off of, smoking cigarettes. Neither one of them has, verbally said that they want to quit. Neither one had done anything to try to quit, but yet they both standing there thinking to themselves that they're going to quit. It's just not going to happen. Like you have to actually put some things in action, a plan together. You got to verbalize it. You got to get around a network of individuals who will hold you accountable. Dedication, it starts with you, but it doesn't have to end with you.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing. I'm dedicated to, being the best I can be, to being one of the best in this industry as a keynote speaker. But I don't have to go through that struggle alone. I don't have to go through the whole, situation in the journey by myself. I now have a group of individuals. I have my brothers. I have my support system with my family. I have my faith to hold on to. So I have a number of different things for me to connect with that allows me to stay dedicated. And one thing that I'll say to y'all is, before we get out of here, is that it's easy to stay dedicated to a thing once you start to achieve things. Like once you see what dedication will get you, once you see the rewards that come from being a dedicated individual, somebody who actually completes things, it's very hard for you to go backwards. And then people, they gravitate to it. I'll be honest with you, people gravitate to someone who is dedicated to something. You're part of my language, but come hella high water, like, yo, it doesn't matter. Like, burn the ships. I'm going down with the ship. It is what it is. Like, I'm dedicated to this thing. Like, I'm dedicated to our friendship. Yeah. So if y'all are going through it, we're about to go through it together, because I'm going to be that person. If you sinking in quicksand, I'll be there to reach my hand in there to try to pull you out, or at least to guide you and tell you, hey, stop kicking and screaming. It's only going to make it worse. I need you to lay still. Like those type of things. So that's really all it is. Is that stay dedicated to whatever it is that you hold near and dear to your heart, and watch how the rewards will start to come in. And it's not going to come right away, but when they start to come in, it makes it that much harder for you to turn your back on it and be mediocre. I think Kobe Bryant said it best, quitting becomes a habit. You quit once, it becomes a habit. So don't get to that point. Just stay dedicated to the process and watch how things start to turn around for you.
Man, I love it. Ain't nothing else that can be said after that, man. We peeling back these onions one layer at a time. Even if it makes us cry, we dedicate it to the journey, not the destination. Listen, you've been checked in, and we thank you for tuning in to the Living Purpose Podcast. You just heard from Brad Butler II, a.k.a. B-Rad the Great. Right before that, that was Cornelius Shackelford, a.k.a. Cornelius the CEO. And right up top, we got Logan Taylor, a.k.a. YB Normal, when you can be extraordinary. And you already know me. I'm your big bro, DeMont Pope, a.k.a. Mr. Purpose over Pointless Excuses. Yeah. Look, we'll see y'all back next week, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Living Purpose Podcast. Yeah. We trying to close the live,
Hey,
y'all.
that's what I'm trying to do. It's spinning. It's ending. Having trouble connecting. Please check.
It don't want us to end, apparently.
It's all
That's
good,
the
y'all. It
apparently
don't want
so.
us to leave, y'all. But whenever it let us leave, we'll be back next week at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But we still going off right now. So just make sure we play it like it's your favorite episode. Like we got some go off music. I don't know what to tell you right now, but that's all we got.
Yeah, I'm literally saying in broadcast, it says having trouble connecting. Please check your internet connection.
They say these folk don't want us to go. We
That's
still
what it
on here.
look like.
Who that? Somebody done prayed for us. Who is that? Somebody.
Somebody.
Who is that? Who is that?
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
We got kids.
it's gonna go